I have Colleen Robinson. You are the second guest on Clallam Corner of 2021. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, James.
Well, this is really fun. As I mentioned briefly before hitting record, I did a little bit of snooping, but happy Friday. We're filming on a Friday and it feels good, doesn't it?
It absolutely, and the sun is out.
Which is a rarity at the end of January, but we will take it whatever we can get, right?
True story.
All right, I'm going to try something out. You're a guinea pig, okay?
Okay, do it.
I didn't give you any homework on this. I'm going to start asking 3 questions. These are just three to get to know you before we dive into who you are, what you're doing, and the cause that you're here for. So first question, summer barbecue. Are you going hamburger or hot dog?
Both. No bun.
Keto practice. I like that. Low carb, both. That's not, you can't do that. I need one or the other. You only get one. You got your ticket.
Burger, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, no bun.
Perfect. Second question. We're all guilty of it. What is something you're currently obsessing over on Netflix, Hulu, YouTube TV, something you're streaming? What are you streaming?
I got you. The whole Marvel series. We're on Jessica Jones right now.
Okay. You know, it was funny when my kids were young, they were kind of into it. And I think it's just about the action figures. And as they've grown up, like zero interest, Star Wars and superheroes, like by the time they were 5, out the door.
Out. Moving on to the next thing. Yeah. The whole Marvel series, there's 5 of them. And so we're on our second of 5. And I love Jessica Jones. She's amazing.
Last question to get to know you before we dive into the habitat side of Colleen is you know, money's not an object. You've got 10 days. What does your ideal 10-day vacation look like?
It's on the bucket list. It would be Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah,
are you
gotta get there?
Staying at a specific resort? Are you road tripping in a little English car around town, or what are we doing?
Castles and pubs. Anyway, anyhow.
All of it.
All of it.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you for letting me be a guinea pig. I wanted to jump right into getting to know you a little bit because you are obviously here on behalf of Habitat for Humanity of Clallam County, but there's a person behind Colleen as well. So it's not just Habitat.
True.
So you've been with Habitat for 6 years. I think a lot of us know the general concept, but why don't I let you have the floor now that I've done too much talking, and you can kind of tell me mission statement, big picture Habitat, and then I have some questions about what's going on micro locally here.
Sure. So Habitat is a Christian housing ministry. However, we accept people of all faith and no faith as both our family partners, staff, volunteers, donors, but we are based on biblical principles. Our mission statement is seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, community, and hope. So that brings me much joy that that is our mission statement, and that's what we strive for. Habitat's been around for about 45 years. Couple of myths I want to dispel about Habitat. Jimmy Carter is not our founder. He is our most popular volunteer. Our founder was Millard and Linda Fuller. And we started way back in Americus, Georgia, at a little tiny place called Koinonia Farms. And the second myth is that we give the houses away, which we do not. They have an affordable mortgage. Our family partners have an affordable mortgage, and that money goes into the revolving fund for humanity so we can build the next house.
You know, that I was doing a lot of research, like I said, well, a lot for me is 20 minutes. So I was reading around and I love the phrase, they're not a handout, it's a hand up. And I really like that. That was like a cool catchphrase that made sense. And now you've explained it's not just here are the keys, you won the lottery. It's here are the keys, we're going to help you build equity and kind of help you along the way.
Right, and build personal wealth. I mean, Habitat has that 45 years now of data to show that kids who grow up in Habitat homes are more likely to graduate high school, go to college, and be homeowners themselves, where we're breaking that cycle of poverty. And in reality, these families have generationally been renters. And so owning a home is a whole new thing. They have to do 250 hours of sweat equity. 100 has to be on the construction site on their home. 50 can be donated by friends and family, And then 100 hours, we require our family partners, that we like to call them. They do a financial class, they do a first-time home buyers class, a homeowner maintenance class, an HOA class, and we provide all of that to them because we want to set them up for success. Because traditionally they've called the landlord and said, hey, I don't have hot water, will you come fix it? And so we want to teach them, you're the landlord that you're calling when your hot water heater goes out, and we want you to know how to fix it.
That is so cool. That's something that, man, I wish they give that kind of education at the high school level, because I mean, a lot of kids could use that, the minute they turn 18 and they're emancipated and they're free. I look back, I learned so much, over the first 10 years of adulting, that it would have been great to have, been given a crash course like that.
Exactly. So we're taking roughly 10 months to build a house. So that's a good time to get to know the family. And what we've been doing a little bit differently is we're doing 2 houses at a time in a 14 home community in Port Angeles, where we have a land bank. And those 2 families are building community as they're building homes. So they're building side by side, and they're building community with one another, and then they're plugging in to the greater community. So right now, we are wrapping up homes, I believe, 11, 10, 9 and 10. We're starting 11 and 12, and then we'll have 13 and 14, and we're done.
That's so awesome. So the whole neighborhood is part of the community. Everyone there has that shared experience, and
Exactly.
like you said, sweat equity. They haven't just come in with, equity from another house or whatever. They've earned it, right? They've earned their keep, which
Exactly.
is awesome.
Yep. And one thing that is a struggle for us in our community, even pre-COVID, is our demographic and getting volunteers, people to feel comfortable coming out on the job site. I don't have building experience. I don't have a lot of time to give. And so I had this epiphany, hey, our community college has a construction technology program. They need to learn how to build houses. We need volunteers. Let's bring those 2 together. So it was about a year-long process, meeting with the college, and MOUs and agreements and understandings of how things work and what's going to happen, and who's responsible for what and who's paying the L&I. So all those kinds of things got ironed out over a year. And in summer 2019, we did our first class. In partnership with Peninsula College, and the Port of Port Angeles gave us a little grant to get started. And we had 8 students start the class, 8 students finish the class. In April of 2020, we sent out a survey to the 8 students. 4 responded. All 4 are currently in the construction field. And one of them quoted that it was one of the best experiences they had. So then COVID hits, and the college says, we don't think we can do that this summer. And the funding wasn't there from Port Angeles, but we had other supporters. We had NPBA and Hartnagel's Building Supply, and multiple other people that said, let's do it. And so we did it again this last summer. We had 6 students sign up, but they had to take an OSHA safety training class because we want them to be safe on the build site.
Sure.
And 2 people didn't show up for the OSHA training, and so they couldn't be on the build site. So we had 4 students start and 4 students finish. And it's just been phenomenal. We know how important workforce training is. You're in the business, people call up, they want an inspector, they need to get, the house for the inspection, they got to get a hot water heater fixed, or need a plumber, need an electrician. There just aren't people out here that are available. They're booking months out. And so if we can help build that workforce training, the students who take our class, they are provided with the safety training. And then they are provided with tools and boots, work boots, and a tool belt, and all the things that they would need, that at the end of that 7-week class, they could walk on into a construction company and say, I'm new, I'm green, I got my own equipment, I got 7 weeks under my belt, I'm certified through this Habitat class. We want to empower them to be employed.
And what a cool thing. And to only be basically in year 2, I mean, obviously there's a great trajectory as we see how our community and our county, let's say, because that's obviously represent the county, is
Right.
growing.
Yeah.
Yes, technology has eliminated some jobs, but there's some that are never going to go away. And that's where you see a lot of these, technical trainings and on-job trainings, because like you said, plumbers, electricians, carpenter, all these things they're not getting replaced by a computer. You got to have those
No.
people at all points in time. And I think that it's such a great message for kids that are at the college, that get some hands on, because maybe in time,
Mhm.
you'll get this group where 50, 60, 70% awesome, love it. And the other 30 are like, gosh, I'm glad I knew now because I don't want to do that. Like
That-
it lets them go. That's not for me.
Exactly, exactly. So we have, of the 4 that took the class this summer, we hired one as our AmeriCorps. Habitat International partners with service members, and we have AmeriCorps, and she signed up in a New York minute to work with us. So for those that don't know AmeriCorps, they work for 10 and a half months. They have to put in 1,700 hours of time in that 10 and a half months. They're paid a small monthly stipend to live on. And at the end, they get a education voucher for 6,200. And they can take that money and they can either pay down student debt or use it to continue their education. So that's been a great boost to us. Annalisa's on staff. And 2 of the other 3 people are regularly on the build site volunteering. So we're
Wow.
building our volunteer base.
This is, I mean, this is one of these things that's so educational for me. There's so many awesome organizations, and you think of Habitat for Humanity, and a lot of people think, number one, like you said, giving away homes. And
Uh-huh.
number two, you guys have a storefront where you sell stuff. And,
Right.
and so to hear and start peeling back some of the layers of this, I mean, what a
Mhm.
cool thing to know who you guys are helping in the community, how you're doing it. It's just, there's so much more to most of these organizations than people realize.
So it's interesting with Habitat, I was not as prepared for how many different hats. So I have a retail business, I have a construction business, I have a mortgage business, I have a family services business. So there are
You
many.
created an education program as well,
Create
partnering.
education. Yep. And then we also have neighborhood revitalization, which was very popular in Squim. In 2018, we did our 2 weeks of Service Fest, where we went through the city of Squim and worked with them. And we did private and public jobs around the town, programs and projects and things that the city wanted to do. So Habitat has another program called RV Caravanners, and these are people who travel the country in their RV. There are 1,100 affiliates across the United States. They go for 2 weeks at a time and they volunteer to build a house or do a home repair project, and then they pack up and they go on the next one. And we brought 22 RV caravanners here, and for 2 weeks they did service projects across the city of Squim. And it was a wonderful experience. We got a lot of recognition from Habitat for Humanity International for what a thinking outside of the box. Charlie Bush was invited to come and do a breakout, actually 2 breakouts with me at our national conference, talking about city and private, nonprofit partnerships. The city of Squim was awarded 2 different awards for thinking outside the box. They got an award from Washington Cities, and then also a National Innovation Award for private and public partnerships. So very exciting.
Yeah, it's so great when you hear our little nook of the world getting a little bit
Mhm.
of publicity and shine. It's never a down moment when you get to share those sort of things.
Yeah, it was really, really, it was a lot of fun. So NR is good because we really want to focus on aging in place. We have an aging housing stock. We're going to run out of land. I know we have a lot of land here on the Olympic Peninsula, but a lot of it is national park. So we need to really preserve that aging housing stock. And there are many people who want to stay in their home, but they need pool bars, or their bathroom, now they're, having mobility problems. So their bathroom needs to be ADA accessible. And those are things that we can help families do. I've written some grants, we have some funding. They're not probably going to do sweat equity in the same way. We worked with one family, and the sweet lady, she baked cookies. That was her sweat equity for the volunteers that came in and did the work. So we can be a little bit flexible there on what that sweat
I
equity
bet,
looks
yeah.
like.
Man, what an exciting opportunity you've found yourself in. And, obviously 2020 was a challenging year, but you guys
Mhm.
still made huge strides, didn't let it derail you. I was reading also housing projects coming next year to Squim, right? So finishing
Yes.
out the project over in Port Angeles in the tech community, and you have a couple properties that are planned for Squim as well, which is
Yes,
awesome.
we bought two land lots in Squim, which my board was very excited. Half my board's from Port Angeles and half is from Squim, and so we haven't been in Squim since 2009. We did 9 homes, as Habitat for Humanity long before my time. In 2009 was the last time we were able to do a house there. And so the opportunity came up for us to buy these 2 lots, and we jumped on it, and we are very excited. And what we want to do is bring that educational training to SQUIM residents, SQUIM high school students. You just never know. This last summer, the demographic we thought would sign up wasn't. We had 2 very young people that are college age and 2 retired people that wanted to come out and learn more about Habitat and learn more about buildings. So I don't want to just limit it to, oh, we're only going to take people who are, 20 and younger, but everybody wants to learn something. So here we are.
You heard it here, folks. All of our clients that are in Medicare and retired, if you want to learn how to swing a hammer and get on the building site, you can still sign up for this, which is awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, our stores, if you had told me you could do a retail model of all donated product, not knowing from one day to the next what was coming in, and that you could make money at that to support affordable housing, I would have said, you're crazy. But the reality is that's exactly what happens. We keep stuff out of the landfill. People donate all kinds of wonderful things. The Port Angeles store has appliances and tools and building materials and lighting and furniture. The SQUIM store is more of a boutique, and we did that specifically. We didn't want to compete with ourselves, just 17 miles apart.
Yeah.
And so it's just been amazing. The SQUIM store has really taken off. We just celebrated year 2, November 2020, and we found our stride, and we're pretty happy about it.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. You guys obviously have a lot of irons in the fire. If people want to get in contact or learn about things like the building program, how to donate, how to get involved with the housing projects, I think I've lost track of how many different ways they can help. What's the best way? Is it website? Is it email? Should they be texting you at 10 o'clock at night? What do you prefer?
I would say there's 2. Our website is habitatclallam.org. Easy peasy.
Perfect.
And if they don't want to go and search a website, they can email info@habitatclallam.org.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. This has been super educational for me, inspiring. You're doing awesome things, and I'm sure it helps you get up out of bed in the morning when you know you're making an impact on so many people's lives.
Thank you for this platform. I really appreciate it, James. And thanks for the
You
opportunity.
You guys deserve it for sure.
All right. Thanks to all your listeners.
Easy enough, right?
Easy.
Awesome, Colleen. Well, thanks so much. Take care.
You bet. Bye-bye.